Oh.
Estamos ao vivo. We are alive on YouTube.
Hmm. Here we are.
Hello,
Let's see.
everyone.
One more Friday.
But we are back to the Flow State Café that happens every Friday. Me, Gisele Queiroz, and Claudia's follower. We are gonna talk today about emotional well-being in physical performance, in the physical
Ex-
performance.
oh, yes.
Right, Claudia?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, well, we here every Friday, pretty much. Last Friday we missed it, but um, I was traveling and, well, we couldn't make it last Friday.
We
So,
both
but
were
normally,
traveling, actually.
yeah, but we normally are here every Friday talking about um well, how to bring more flow into our lives in general. We both work with this methods based on quantum physics. It's a quantum method that helps you to go back to flow instantly, remove any type of stress, and go into the root cause of it actually and remove it permanently. Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
And one of the main reasons that we didn't had the flow stage last week is because Claudia went to an event, a very nice and cool event. And where were it, Claudia?
Yeah, it was in Seville. It was a World Football Summit.
Cool, nice. So you
Hmm.
met lots of interesting people
Yeah,
who are
yeah, yeah.
involved into like football and athletes and business people and
Yeah,
everything all about football things. And how
mm-mm.
was it? How was the
It was really
experience?
cool. Like the experience was really nice. Yes, definitely. There were many companies that were involved in the football industry. And so it was really cool because I've worked with a couple of football players so far, but I wasn't really. I wanted to feel the vibe of how's the football industry, you know. And so it was a big
Hmm.
for me, very interesting, and I came back more and more convinced that athletes need us more than ever. Um,
Hmm.
why isn't? Because, well, I mean, there was a lot of, you can realize what is behind nowadays sports, especially in an industry like football. It moves a lot of, there was so many people working in this industry in many different ways, you know, providing different type of services from marketing for investors, obviously, and you know, branding and data analysts and so on. But yes, and this creates a lot of money, but at the same time, a lot of expectations on athletes. That to me, yeah, this topic was a bit wasn't in the center of the convention. Let's say they didn't talk much about mental health for athletes, for example. You know, which I think it's extremely important, and the more interest, the more money there are, the more important it becomes, mental health for athletes, and the emotional well-being, because the more money means the more expectations on these people, which of course you say, okay, they make a lot of money, of course, yes, but at the same time, you can understand that there is a lot of pressure on these people. Yes, so it's not really easy to deal with all this pressure, and I think we should talk more about it, definitely. And you are trying to improve the performance from different angles, obviously, which is super good, but you're missing a big important piece of the cake, because inevitable the physical performance is affected by emotions. Yes, and so that's it's kind of interesting, and it kind of surprised me and other people also that there wasn't too much focus on this topic, you know. But then, yeah,
And that,
So,
yeah, that's why we decided to talk about it this week, right?
mm, hmm
One
hmm
of the
yeah.
reasons, and also you'll have some, you know, clients who are involved with the,
Mm,
with sport in general,
yeah,
and yeah,
yeah,
and
and it
and
was
what's
interesting.
the main the main thing we were talking about, that when people start to do a sport, at first, when you are a child, like you do it for fun, and then you realize, no, wow, I like to do it, I enjoy doing it, and then they started to want to get professional
I'm
and
making a living out of it. Yeah,
get into
yeah,
this
yeah.
world.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, if we think about how he's in the beginning, so this Brian that raised his hands, Brian, we will allow to Q&A later, yeah, as at the end of the session, like always. But thank you so much for willing to participate. Um, and so yeah, as we said, like, when you're a kid, you start to play sports, and especially team sports are also, I think, a very interesting environment to grow. And obviously you like it, it creates endorphin and dopamine and so on, right? So you just play without thinking much. But then little by little, when you become more and more professional, start to making a living out of it, then interesting things come up. Yeah. um and so let's say that, obviously in the case of team sports, for example, they help us to develop relationships, and so I think it's really cool. The thing is that when you reach those professional levels, everything changes because money dictates everything, right? And for example, in football, there's so much money. Yes. And so what happens, like, Mm, everything depends on the performance of athletes. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. And from marketing companies, sponsors, investors, everybody's creating this expectation, yes, on athletes, and then we are also, as human beings, we create expectation on ourselves, but we're not machine. Yes, we're not machines, and so um,
Yeah, it's a lot
the
of
thing is that
pressure, and it's like you
there's
were
a lot of
treat
pressure.
yeah, you were treated like a, basically like a machine sometimes. I think most of
Totally,
the
and
time, when like it's a world thing, like if you go to big
yeah,
play, and a lot of
and
the public, the media, the
there,
investors, and all of
there's
this.
a lot to deal with, a lot of things that you have to deal with when you become an elite athlete.
Hmm.
And obviously, at the end of the day, you're still a human being, and you still have a mind, a body, emotions, and but deep down, what I realize about athletes is that you end up being, in most of the cases, an elite athlete because deep down you don't feel good enough, and so you kind of trap this unconsciously, obviously, this situation where you're constantly being measured, or constantly
Hmm.
competing, sometimes even with the team, with your teammates, because even if you're a team, but eventually there's always kind of a competition inside, yeah. And so
Hmm.
you constantly attracting these situations that, if you don't feel good enough, they're constantly measuring you, and you're constantly getting into this. And so um being
You
compared with others. Hmm?
you also think, guys, for example, the thing of not being enough, not feeling good enough, attracts this type of thing, for the reality of being like constantly measured, and also the
Yeah,
compect or the competition, um, energy that happens in this type of world. Do you think the competition is also related to the not feeling good enough?
yeah, yeah,
The
totally,
environment, this
totally.
type of environment, yeah,
Yeah.
because you always want to be, the best. You want to be,
Which
you want to win, for
obviously,
example.
yeah, and
You
obviously that makes you achieve great things, but as much as it makes you achieve great things, at the same time it brings a lot of pain.
Mhm.
And so when you start to gain a lot, eventually you will inevitably, and it's like maths, experience the opposite. At some point, yes. And so, and it's constantly, that voice is constantly there. And so if you listen to that voice, you get more and more into these stressful situations, and so it's kind of a, the more you get into this voice, and the more difficult would be eventually to overcome the failure, when you will fail, because everybody fails at some point. I mean, obviously, even the greatest champions, and that's so. Learning, you can consciously say yes. Failing is part of it, but if you don't feel deep down that that you kind of, it's not a problem, you will constantly be there with your mind and emotions. And emotions are big, like especially these low frequency emotion are one of the biggest enemy for the body. And nobody talks about this in performance. Nobody, like, haven't heard
Yes.
anybody, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like we're forgetting something very big. Yeah.
Yeah, and then how this pressure affects the mind and the thoughts and the feelings that are going to eventually also slow down your body, and then like, and um yeah, you're gonna usually, when you are on it, when you are on the flow, just playing, without the mind, just do it. You don't think about it. You like, your mind is already, you already integrated the what you have to do. You already know all the movements and everything instant, like on your, it's like as we were saying, like it's kind of almost like an instinct. You get into this
Hmm.
flow state in
Hmm.
the field, for example, or,
Hmm.
like in the football, volleyball, all
Hmm.
this um places that we like, any type of sport actually. And
Yeah.
so the pressure brings these doubts and these emotions and these thoughts that's gonna bring
Yeah.
the eventually sometimes the make the person, if the person fail, they will feel like, no, really bad, or they're not gonna know how to deal with that. A lot of athletes have emotional disease. Eventually, sometimes they have anxiety, they
No.
have
Yes. A lot. A lot.
crisis of anxiety, crisis in the depression, and
Yeah.
some of them get into vicious, like addicted to something, like that football, like that Argentinian guy who is so is an old school one, like Maradona.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
He got
I think
into
we all have
alcoholism.
addictions. Yeah.
Yeah.
On different levels, I think we all have addictions at the end of the day. You can be
Mhm.
addicted to anything, right? Oh, sorry. You can be, yes, but obviously on different levels, right? But yes, I mean, it goes, it's just even on a very basic level, even, and I was talking with people that work like face to face with athletes on a daily basis, and they were kind of aware of this. They say they can't hear anything.
Where?
uh, can
No,
anybody
on LinkedIn or on YouTube?
on LinkedIn,
On
can
LinkedIn.
anybody give me a second?
Mm, let me. I can hear you. Actually, I'm listening to you here
Yeah.
on the phones on
Can you
LinkedIn.
let us know if you're hearing? Martin is there. Let me see if Martin can, or Alexis, they can give us a feedback. Um, let me see. Let me see. Can you guys give us a sign? Anyone? Okay, Martin wants to speak. Let's say.
Like
Okay, I
Martin.
guess that was a hello, Martin. Let hello,
Hi,
Martin.
morning.
Yeah, will you be able to listen to us? Okay.
I don't know where everyone else is listening from, but we are in the. I really enjoy the conversation, and I'm not sure if we're doing question and answer, but I can hear you okay. I have a question
Okay.
later. Let me know.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay, thank you
much.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for the
sounds good.
feedback. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So yeah, as we were saying before, that's good. We were saying before,
I was just opening the mic for the people who are in the YouTube because they cannot see who's talking in
okay.
a LinkedIn. It's just
Okay.
people to know that like on a LinkedIn, people can raise their hands and ask questions and interact.
Mm. Hmm. Thanks, thanks. All right. So as we were saying before, like even just you don't need to get to the level of having anxiety, but emotion will still weaken the body. If you have negative emotions, negative meaning like low frequency, like if you're frustrated, if you're overwhelmed, it will inevitably weaken the body and slow down the body. And you can do a very simple test to check this, right?
Hmm.
Kinesiology test. If you put your arm up, let's say like up like horizontally, and you think about something very that makes you feel very good, and you ask someone to push it down, it would be they will feel the resistance. Yes, because your arm is strong, the body is strong. But if you do the same thing, thinking about something that makes you feel bad, they will inevitably be able to push it down, and anybody can try this with someone. So it's simple as that, and nobody talks about this.
Yeah, this is the, I think this is kinesiology. I don't know
Hmm.
if there is a name. Like this tests is with you can also do with the fingers and you know, when something is strong, or if you say my name is Giselle, my name is Claudia, and then it just
Hmm.
get a little bit more softer and
Yeah.
also will reflect directly if something's weakening you, and if you are playing, you're gonna affect it directly on your body
Mm.
performance,
Yeah.
right? That's what we
Totally.
were talking.
Totally.
The
Yeah.
emotions and
Totally.
chemistry, the chemistry in your body yeah, happens. What happens is when you have an emotion, like your body
Mm.
produces this chemistry also, you know.
Actually, yeah. I had a I had a session. I can actually explain this here maybe about the session I had the other day. It was pretty well, I can't explain everything, but it had literally to do with body mind and someone that has been suffering from 12 years pain, like chronic pain in
Yes,
his
yes,
shoulder.
wow,
So the best
crazy.
doctors, yeah, in Mexico, Spain, in the
Hmm.
States, nobody could do anything. And well, I'm not gonna tell the rest because there's a lot of there, a lot of stuff in there. But we basically resolve it in 10 minutes. And obviously, when you see that, I mean, it's obviously like the
Blow
emotional
your
state that he
mind.
was.
It
Yeah, yeah,
blows
yeah,
your
yeah,
mind.
literally.
It's because it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
It's crazy,
insane.
right? It's a bit far away from our normal perspective. Like if you go to 12 years to different doctors and different places, and you cannot resolve your back pain, suddenly in 10 minutes you're using a quantum methods and then you resolve it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like people,
But
people
it's so
get
obvious
crazy with that.
that the mind affects the body. Like to me, it's so and nobody is looking. I mean, there are people that are looking at this, but when it comes to physical performance in sports, not many people are looking at this, and it's so important. It makes a massive difference. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
more empty you go out there and performing empty, the better your performance is going to be. simple as that, and it's incredible.
Yes,
It's
because
incredible.
if it's like we were talking about this, like if you try to resolve only on the matter, like on the level of the body, the physical thing, yeah, we
Mm,
don't you don't see the whole thing. So
mm-hmm. No.
uh yeah, because we are much more than the physical, like yes, energy. And this energy is the result of memories from the whole life experience and all,
Yeah.
like centuries and everything that like
Yeah.
the cumulative effects of all this experience that our spirits also have in life, and you
Mm,
know and
mm.
then
And then,
the
yeah,
collective also.
totally. And then, especially when it comes to body mind, the body is just preventing you to, um, not preventing you, but let's say,
Showing
when it
you.
comes to it's showing you something, every time you have a physical pain or physical issue, the body is just showing you, like, it's showing you where your biggest fear is. That's it. And so, like, and you're gonna go towards your biggest fear, and the more you resist, the bigger it's gonna come, like, inevitable. So we're always unconsciously trying to get away from something. Yes, but you will find it inevitably, more and more situation that will make you experience that. Yes, until you don't see it. And
That's the
it's so
point when you
connected.
bring conscious to the unconscious.
Mm-hmm,
That's,
mm-hmm.
like you kind of, yeah, go through this like process of resolving that,
Yeah,
and then when you
yeah,
are aware of these things that runs into our unconscious minds, like these programs that are running, and you being like you are aware of that, you
yeah,
get into deeper inside of your fears, your
yeah,
deepest fears, and bring it up
yeah.
to the light.
Totally. And I'm pretty sure, like, most of athletes, they get into sports because they feel, that they want to be good enough. And so that's how they attract those, environments to prove that they're good enough constantly. But at the same time, it's a huge stress. Because you will always fear, you're not good enough. And so you want more and more and more and more. But instead, um, and that actually takes you away from the pleasure, from the reason of why you are doing that. And so at some point, I've talked to some athletes that told me, I've achieved everything and I still don't feel happy. Of course, because deep down your unconscious still feels it's not good enough, and so they will push you until until it destroys you. That's the thing.
Yes.
But you can go out there and enjoy the game, and that's the way you want to perform. And actually, I really liked the last conference that we saw at the World Football Summit. Um, the captain of Seville Football Club, he said, they asked him, "What's the most important thing for a football player nowadays?" And he said, um, "Being happy while playing." Right? Which it looks, from outside, you can say, of course, these guys are making a lot of money. Of course, they're happy, but while playing, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy. There's so much pressure behind that. Yeah. So I think we need to talk more about these topics and bring some more awareness, because it's really important. Yeah.
Yes, these topics is I think it are the not the easiest ones, no, because it
No.
require some energy, but it's not easy to deal with the pain. So
Mm.
first you take this, you are aware of that, like if you have to make some effort to win, to do all the things you have to do, you must make some efforts to resolve your unconscious mind and your inner,
Mm.
to work inside, to work on your inner self, and
Mm.
then
Mm.
find more pleasure in life and the things that you're doing.
Totally.
It can be in sports, it can be in your work, it can be in your relationships, in your life, everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
work inside to come outside and have a more joyful life.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, totally. Exactly. But it's really interesting, yeah. What you see from outside, then eventually, it's very different, yeah. Um, but everybody is I don't know. It's just at the end of the day, it's always a connection to your higher self, yes, and getting living more from the heart than from the mind, yeah, from the ego and all that. And when you do that, when you start to do that, eventually everything flows.
Yes, that's the thing.
Mm-mm.
Because when you talk
Mm-mm-mm.
about, for example, some sports, you work in a group. If you learn how to to work with the group,
Yeah.
if the person who is driving what's the technique, the guy who trained the group, how what's the name, the coach, there's a
Mm-hmm.
coach train a group, right? If this coach knows how to, for example, um, this uh, these things that happens in your mind, and he knows how to make the
To
group
deal with it.
feel
Yeah.
as a group, feel as it is a
Yeah.
group, and make it power. The group can be much more powerful. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
if you
Yeah.
have
And
a good
it's
coach as well, you can also.
yeah. And also, as we said once with EC, right? We talked once with him here. This balance. Yeah, we're gonna win, but at the same time, it's okay. There's no just let them play, right? Boom, have fun. He had this coach that didn't tell them much. Because he was confident, he was trusting them, and that's also very important in leadership, not just in sports but everywhere in leadership, right? You just trust people, and because otherwise you just projecting your own fears, and people feel it, and
Hmm. Yeah.
and so that's also very important. But definitely, I mean, emotional well-being makes a big difference. When I've worked with some athletes, I remember once I worked with one that, when they change, they have to relocate, they change teams. It's a change of the environment, language, and everything, right? And that that is very difficult sometimes. It can be very difficult, and I remember, like, this person was crying every single night. So how that's gonna affect the performance massively, of course, right? So, and not just the performance. If you're playing in a team, eventually, it's contagious, because it's energy. You feel it. I don't know if those people that are here have ever played like a team sport, but I did. And you can instantly feel when someone is like low, and it's contagious. You don't understand consciously what is happening, but there's something where it's happening. Yes, you cannot explain it with your mind, but you feel it, and you see the
Hmm.
team is slowing down. And so, that's why, yes, what we don't see actually is ruling everything. What we don't see rules everything. And then we think that, well, we have to change the technique, we have to change. It's had nothing to do with that. It's deeper. Or it's in the apparently empty matter. Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's all in there. It's all in
Yeah,
there.
that's the thing about the new therapies, like the holistic point of view. It's because you stop, for example, looking only to the mind patterns. Like you
Yeah.
just, you also the holistic thing go into this unknowing place that
Yeah.
we call. It can be we can call, the unknowing, or the unseen, the things that you don't see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because our perspective is limited, there is a limitation,
Mm.
right, in
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
rational perspective about things.
100%. Yeah. 100%. 100%. I think with Socrates, someone is.
What's
What's
up,
up, Cynthia?
Cynthia?
Hello, ladies and chat. Hello, Cynthia. Welcome to the Flow State Cafe.
Hello, Cynthia.
um,
Welcome.
nice when people interact. But yes, it's no, I lost my the point, but yes, overall, it's all about alignment. When you're aligned and you know where you want to go, and you know what you deserve, which is sometimes we can't see what we want because there are so many limitations, right? And so you go back to alignment, and boom, you connect, and things flow. You don't have to make a lot of effort to get things done when you're aligned. When you are living from the ego, from the mind, and this constantly effort, right? No, no, that's not the way.
Yes. I
So
was gonna
that's
write to
really
Cynthia if
important.
she has a question, she can write it. Also here in
Mhm.
the chat.
Anyone, I think we can open for Q&A. If anybody has questions, obviously we're open to
Yes, yes, also.
have a chat. And
Here,
also
LinkedIn.
let's remind people, right, about what we offer. Um, if anybody wants to talk with us and is interested in trying this new type of work, and you can just get in touch with us. We offer discovery calls, so we're happy to do that.
Yeah. Also, if you are interested, just get in touch with us and to get to know how to get into the flow and to work on your unconscious mind also and the
Yeah.
unseen parts of yourself that we all want to work and bring to the light and have this more joyful and pleasure life.
Yeah, yeah.
And we can open to Martin. What do you think? Hi,
I
Martin.
couldn't see Martin. Why? Okay.
So I'm doing my walk. I have to get in better shape. I'm not like those footballers you met back at Seville. That must have been great, Claudia, meeting all those professional athletes and talking
Yeah.
about sports. Like, I wanted to say something, a couple of things. So in North America, and I don't know the who's in the group here, but it's a big deal. Baseball is a really big sport here. So we are now entering the end of the season, and you were talking about pressure on these athletes, and the pressure on a pitcher or on the batter is very individualized and very power. It's huge, right? And I've been watching now. I've been coming to the Flow State Cafe for like a year. It's like an anniversary now. Happy anniversary for all of us. It's really great. But I wanted to say that, I've changed my way I watch sports as a spectator and a fan. So I follow the Toronto Blue Jays. It's the only Canadian baseball team in this big league with mostly all American teams. So it's I've just been watching the players, right? How do they handle the pressure, and how do they manage it? And they can have, I was watching the other night, one player, 3 times trying to hit the ball and no success, and then like near the end of the game, won the whole game by an amazing hit. So he didn't get overwhelmed. And you were talking about the mind, right? He didn't let the lack of success get to him. He just kept focusing and staying in. I have another chance. I have another chance. I'll keep going. And this kind of mental discipline is really really interesting to watch. And I think if we can learn that ourselves in our own lives and manage the flow, as you always say, both of you, we can be really successful no matter what it is. So just wanted to add that in. And I also the second thing was this idea of the team being really big, bigger than all of us. For those who have not seen it, I was watching this really great series on Apple. Ted Lasso, Lasso. So he's a coach of this football team, a Premier League team, and it's an amazing show. Many of you maybe have seen it, but he is really a true leader because he celebrates the whole team and leads them, but lets them do their thing. So it's exactly what we're talking about here. So I just wanted to add those two things. So really enjoy the Flow State. Good to see you. I hear you.
Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much. That was
Thank
really
you.
cool. Yeah.
Really nice.
It's interesting. I think I don't remember. I'm not sure, but I think once we talked with Issy, friend who's a football player, I think he said I know maybe I'm saying something wrong now here, but I remember we once telling about not celebrating much. I don't remember. Well, whatever. I'm going out of. But thank you so much. That was really interesting. And yes, um, the idea is playing, not playing to win, but playing to have fun and enjoy the process. And the process will give you insight and growth, right? That's the idea. And willing to gain, but not like, you know, not from scarcity, but from like, I've gained already, let's just play. Right. That's it. That's mm-hmm. Mm. Yes. Yeah.
Right, and that's why we
Yeah.
all do the things we do, because we love it. Really,
Yeah.
the things we really do, we love them. It's not because of money.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
it must be
Mm-mm.
very challenging for them. And for one last thing, I mean, sports psychology is one of the most interesting areas of sports, like the way the audience, the crowd reacts, the way the
Mm.
teamwork, the way the
Yeah.
player on the individual level. Is a fascinating area. So yeah, I really enjoy this topic. Thanks.
Mm. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Yeah, this point, like when you go to a stadium and you have like this massive amount of people, uh, it's all about like getting people together to enjoy and to, you know, and also there's the team, there's the people, yeah, it's a powerful energy, but
Yeah.
we should actually learn how to deal with that, because I'm from Brazil and here there is a lot of competitive energy in the football, and people, they get a
Mm.
bit crazy with that, and they get
Mhm.
very overwhelmed when someone lose, and sometimes they get into fights, and that's not about it, right? um
Yeah.
it triggers too much people sometimes, and that's why it's so important to us to work on ourselves, and bring a
Yeah.
different message through football, not just be talking about like, being the best in the world, and like, as the thing, this type of thing.
I think there's a lot of work that needs to get done there.
The season is over. It's over. Like for my
Yeah.
baseball, if Toronto doesn't win the World Series, it's okay. I mean, it will be on. I will not be happy, but it's not the end of the world, right? I just move on, like I let it go. But that's me. But not like you say. She said there are people who cannot. That you get into this mass psychology, group psychology. So we have to get out of that. Like maybe harness the positive emotions of sport, and not just what it brings out in everybody, but not that group mentality. Yeah, it gets it's very commercialized, and of course, someone has to pay all these huge
Yeah.
salaries, right? They have to have
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. But we all know that it's a huge, there's a huge system and a lot of money behind that. But at least talking about these things, I think it helps to because I think there's a lot. Yeah, it's we need to also put these guys like in, just start to
The
watch
money
them
can
and be
also be
honest.
unhealthy, the way you deal with money and how you
Yeah,
approach,
like everything.
you know?
Totally. But it's interesting. It was a whole topic.
It is.
All right. All right. So I think
Well,
if anybody else has any questions, just remind you, yeah, we want to remind you that we offer these 25 minutes just to get to know each other, explain you a bit what we do. Um, yes, which is kind of uncommon, but it has really good results, and we are all into results, right?
yeah,
So if
and
anybody wants to know
remembering
more,
remembering we work in a quantum level, so it doesn't matter if you are in States or if you, like I am in Brazil, Claudia, now it's in Italy, but she lives in Barcelona, and now like have lots of like this online work, and
Mm,
so
mainly.
it's very powerful as
Yeah.
it as a quantum type of therapy and method. Doesn't have space and time, and we can access the answers and resolve the problems.
Yeah.
So we get to know
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
type of things we do. It's very interesting.
All right. All right. So I think we can close it here today.
Yes, I think we spoke a lot. It was really nice to
Yeah.
listen to Martin today.
Yeah. Oh, so nice. Yeah, sure.
They talk, Clau and Gisele talk about their process and their technique a lot, but I mean, for me, it's been a really powerful process to get in touch with this energy, and the sky is the limit, as they say, right? It's a whole new kind of life, the quality. So thanks
Thank
again for that, and
Yeah.
thanks for a great session today. Really interesting. Thanks.
thank you so
Thank you so
much,
much. Thank
Martin.
you, Martin.
All right. Well, having said that, so I think we can close it here, right? Thank you so much, and yeah, let's see you guys next week.
See you
And
guys next Friday. Come back, Cynthia. It was nice to see you here. Bye bye. Bye,
yeah.
everyone
Bye
listening.
bye.
Ciao. Wait a second.